Welcomes. Welcome back. I am Niecy G, and I wanted to talk to you guys today about how I overcame an eviction. And people tend to think that circumstances matter, and they do play a huge part in teaching you something and showing you something. And I like to get really personal with you guys and just be vulnerable because I just feel like it gives people hope and it lets people know that if this girl can change her reality, then I can change mine because we all have the power. It's just within you. And if you're new to my content, I talk a lot about neuroscience and psychology and quantum physics because I like to take a more down to earth, grounded approach when it comes to manifestation and just creating the life that you desire overall. And I think it's so important to do that because so many people look for a source outside of themselves and they still think that like the universe or God is outside of them, and it's not. You are the one that is curating and designing your life based off of your perspective. And it's so important to go with the way that your brain works. So I am ADHD. So I know that my brain is going to go a million miles a minute. I know that sometimes I forget things. So that's why I've structured my life in a way to honor that. So I write things down the day before so I know what I need to do tomorrow. That gives my brain a dopamine hit. I'm checking it off. It feeds my brain's reward system, right? So you got to figure out how to work with your brain and instead of against it. If you keep working against it, then you'll just create unnecessary resentment. Okay. So once upon a time, I was going through an eviction process. And don't get me wrong, I've gone through this many a times before. As I told you guys that are, follow me on TikTok, you hear a lot of my personal stories and it's a little bit more hype over there. And on my podcast on YouTube, it's just more chill conversation like, so I can go into depth. So this last particular time, and I do not remember when this was, y'all also forgive me. I'm just like, time's irrelevant anyways, so it doesn't even fucking matter. But at any rate, I was facing an eviction, and how it came about is wild, actually. There was one time where, because it wasn't like I just wasn't paying my rent. And I want to be very clear on all of these things because I want you to recognize the pattern that I had. So you then in turn can recognize a pattern that you might have, especially when it comes to a feast and famine mindset. Okay. I had a very feast and famine mindset. For those of you that are new, I have been a master cosmetologist for 19 years. And I've been a mindset mentor for 4 years. And so whenever I would do people's hair or whatever, like it's fast money. It's fast, easy money. Whenever I lived back home in Atlanta, I would do hair and makeup at a strip club. So I would do, makeup and hair and all sorts of stuff for my clients there or whatever. So it was very easy for me to reach a lot of money very quickly, but I would spend it quickly too. Now, on the flip side of this, since I had identified as this unknowingly, then my same habits I still had. Those habits at that time frame looked like me not checking my bank account, me being afraid of my credit or avoiding those things. I would just be like, whatever, I don't give a shit. I'm not paying that bill. It'll just go on my credit. Like I really didn't care. And mind you, when you're younger, you don't know the importance of these things or, how they're going to play a part in your reality later on down the road as you get older. And so I just didn't take care of those things. But those were my patterns. Those were my foundations. And it's so wild because my dad taught me to be financial literate, and my mom's an accountant, but I didn't take those things seriously. My dad also taught me about manifestation and quantum physics and the Bible is a manuscript to teach you to get what you want. And my mom was very much like, speak things into existence. The power of your tongue is not a joke, like all these things, but it just did. That shit went in one ear, out the other, y'all. It really did. But I lived in a very feast and famine cycle because even then my parents taught me scarcity. My mom grew up poor, so she would go to Sam's Club and Costco and stock up on food and just shit that we didn't need because she was afraid we might run out of food because when she was little, they were poor. My dad would literally bend over backwards to get us any and everything because he grew up poor. He was a baby. He always had hand-me-downs. So anytime I wanted new sneakers, a designer bag, or jewelry, whatever, my dad would break his ass to get it. But then he would also be like, you got to work twice as hard. You got to prove yourself. You're Black. You're a female. Money doesn't grow on trees. I'm not going to give you money for stupid stuff. So, like, I thought that, and this, listen, in hindsight, like, I know that my parents were just doing the best that they could based off of their programming. So I don't fault them for any of this stuff. But that ultimately taught me I don't have to take care of myself first. Because if I wanted money for like nails and stuff, my dad would be like, you're not getting money for that stupid stuff right now. No, maybe another time. Like, just kind of rush me off. Or like, your sisters need this. No, because then once my sisters were born, we're 11 and 12 years apart. There's like such a huge age gap that their needs were just more, they needed more, right? Because of their age. But as an adolescent, as a teenager, I don't understand that they're toddlers and babies and that they need more attention or whatever. I don't care. I'm like 13, 14 years old. I don't give a shit. Like, I just want what I want. My friends are going to get their nails done and I want to go too. My friends are going to the mall and I want to go too. So that sacrifice thing just didn't register with me. Okay, so trickle down, I'm an adult. And that looked like me just avoiding things. So how this all came about was I was getting ready to pay my rent, but then I couldn't because the system that I used at the time to check my hair clients out didn't process fully. So all of those funds didn't process. So I had to wait like a couple of days in order for those funds to clear. I communicated that with the property manager, and the property manager said that it was okay. I was like, will I get charged a late fee? He said no. Okay, so then that deadline came and went, and the money still was being processed. And I'm like, what in the hell? And it was because at the time I was using a new like system to check my clients out. And so if you were a new user, then they waited like X amount of days for the money to clear. It was so bizarre. Whatever. I don't even use that platform anymore, but that's what had happened. And so I had communicated that with him. He's like, okay, well, you're going to now have to pay the late fee. Understandable. But at the time in my account, I only had enough just to cover my rent, just to cover my rent. And that was it. Okay. And fast forward to that, he was okay, well, we're going to have to file an eviction. It was like a 3-day notice to vacate or something. And I was like, oh my God, like this is just insanity to me. And so he was like, well, so you can get caught up. It does take a while for this court stuff to go through because the leasing manager was super cool at the time. Like, he wasn't an asshole. He was just doing whatever, he had to do as far as protocol and his chain of command. Totally raised by a Marine. Okay, so that's what he had to go through. So whatever, rules are rules. I ain't tripping. But I was annoyed. So I'm like, bro, I barely have the money for the rent. I don't have the money for the late fees. Like, I wasn't that busy at the time because my mindset was spiraling. Oh my God, the rent, this, that, the third. So I would book clients, but sometimes it would just be one or they would cancel. It was very chaotic for me at this time. And I was very frantic and all over the place. And I just want to be honest with you guys so you can look at where you might need to see where you're doing. I had these discrepancies where I thought like manifestation was I can think my way out of this. Some sort of idea is going to come to me. I was heavily into Bob Proctor and Abraham Hicks at the time. And I thought, okay, all I got to do is just think positive thoughts. If my thoughts make my reality, then I can just think my way through this. Fucking wrong. The more I tried to think about it, the more like resistance I built because I was just telling my subconscious that I don't have this situation handled. I'm facing eviction. Like, what the fuck am I going to do? So then that turned into I need gas, I need food, I need to pay my phone bill. My phone's going to get turned off because if I don't pay my phone bill, how the hell will clients reach me to book so I can pay rent? Like, it was just this cycle that I just did not know sorry, there's fuzz on my face, that I did not know how to get out of. And so I was like, I just can't continue to go on like this. Like, this is not it, bitch. Like, this is not fucking it. And so I paid my phone bill. And of course, that left me with a little bit of money. Like, I didn't have all the money for the rent. I don't have the money for the late fee. Then I would wake up the next day and some stupid, like, Apple will charge you $10.99, $14.99. And you're like, what the fuck? So I went through my subscriptions. I was trying to cancel things. I was trying to sell things. I was really, really, really frantic, you guys. Like, my state of being was very chaotic and flustered. Sorry for my light, you guys. My ring light keeps shutting on and off. Whatever. And so I'm like, every day something's being pulled out of my account. Like, what the fuck? And even when I did work, if you guys are not privy to, when you are a beauty industry professional, whether you're a barber, a nail tech, a hairstylist, whatever, we pay booth rent to the place that we work at. So we have to pay to work there. So at the time, my booth rent is being drafted, like, and if not, there's a late fee on that. So that left me maybe with like $700 at the time. And I was like, holy shit, I don't have near enough money for my rent. Like, what am I going to do? So then that month turned into another month, that turned into another month, that turned into another month. So like 4 months go by and I'm still communicating, and I'm like practicing meditation because now I've discovered Dr. Joe Dispenza. And I'm like, okay, let me just get quiet, get still. Like, let me implement this. Because I'm a type of person where I like to recognize my patterns. This is why I tell you to work with your brain and not against it. ADHD people, neurodivergent people in general, in my personal opinion, notice patterns very quickly. We'll be like, oh, your behavior shifted. Oh, you put your phone down. The mailman didn't come at 12:02. He came at 12:15. Like, we notice things. And so I am very like keen on picking up on my own patterns. And so I was like, let me just get quiet, get still. Let me try something different. So I get still, and I do a meditation, and I'm just doing breath work. And I think at the time, like, I had gotten into breath work and the Wim Hof, like, breathing techniques and things like that, just calming my nervous system. Started studying neuroscience a little bit more. So I knew about like your prefrontal cortex. I didn't know about like all the different areas of the brain and nervous system, just like basic surface level stuff. And so I was like, okay, I need to be quiet so I can hear God's voice. My grandma used to always tell me, be still and know that I am God. And so she would always just recite that to me. And I'm like, be still, like, okay, maybe I need to just get my ass somewhere and sit down. So I did that, and I did this over a course of days. By like the third day, I got an idea to say, I need to pay this. Like, I don't want to wait around for a court date for this to go through. Like, I don't want to move. I don't want to be evicted. Like, I don't want to do that. Okay. So I ended up calling the leasing manager, office manager, and I was like, hey, can I schedule a meeting with you? I have a proposition because I really want to get this paid. And he was like, sure, come to my office at whatever time. So we set up a meeting. I go down there and I'm like, can I pay $1,000 a week every week until this is like paid up? And he was like, let me talk to the lawyers. Let me talk to, the owner. They have talked to like the owner of the property and confirm, and I'll get back with you tomorrow. And I was like, okay, sure. So he was like, every Sunday, just put the $1,000 in there. I'll get it on Monday morning when I come to the office. Sorry, guys, my blanket is so fuzzy. And so I was like, okay, that's fine. So then that Sunday, I think I met with him like on a Wednesday or Thursday. That Sunday rolled around. I'm making the payments, and I'm making these payments for like a consecutive 4 to 5 weeks in a row. And then by that 5th week, there was a holiday. And then the money didn't go through on my account, so I had to do it that Monday. You guys, that Monday morning at like 8:30, I sent him a text and I was like, hey, I just wanted to let you know that like the banks delayed the payment, from my clients. So I need to try to bring in the money on Tuesday. and he never responded. So then I'm calling, I'm like, what's going on? Like, he won't answer. So I was like, let me try to like process this money, whatever. He still doesn't, it's not going through. So then that Tuesday morning, I wake up because I went downstairs. I didn't see him in the office. So I figured, okay, maybe he's just not at work today. Like, I don't know. So I then go the next morning and I wake up at like the butt crack of dawn to get to the bank, like as soon as it opened, because that's what I failed to tell you guys. I was able to pay it every week, but I had to pay it in the form of a cashier's check. So I'd have to physically go to my bank and get a cashier's check or a money order, whatever, but they prefer cashier's checks. So I went to my bank first thing Tuesday morning, went and got it, was literally about to bring it to him because I texted him and said, hey, I'm letting you know that I'm on my way. Because I know that their offices opened at like, God, I don't remember, maybe like 10 or 9:30 or something like that. And banks open at 9. So I was like, I'll be there in a few minutes. I'm like 15 minutes away. And he was like, save it. I can't accept it. Like, we're not accepting it. We've already filed the paperwork that you defaulted, and we're gonna go ahead with the eviction process. And I was like, are you shitting me? Like, what is happening? Now, here's the part that I want you guys to recognize. If I'm in a feast and famine cycle, meaning I'm able to get a lot of money, I lose a lot of money. I get a lot of money, I lose a lot of money. I get a lot of money, I lose a lot of money. I'm doing this. So is my nervous system, so is my identity, and so is my beliefs. So anytime that I got hit with something, it felt like catastrophic. Like, this is the end. I'm never going to make it out of this. What the fuck do I do? And I remember being so frustrated, and I was like, this is just not the way that I thought this was going to go. Like, and you would think at the time, I thought, damn, like, can he just have a little leniency? Like, I'm trying to take financial responsibility because regardless of what happened, I didn't have my rent, right? So I'm trying to like do better because Dr. Joe was like, you get who you're being, your patterns, your behavior. So I'm trying to disrupt my old pattern and learn and apply what I've been learning or, yeah. So that's what I was trying to do. So I'm like, why is my reality not shifting? Now, let's backtrack a little bit. Prior to me getting this eviction notice, I would drive by like little small houses and I would think, oh my God, it would be so nice to like rent a cute little house and have a dog. And, me and my son could be out there with the dog and just like a nice house to rent. And I'm like, oh my God, renting a house is probably like so dumb expensive. And so I'm just thinking all these things. And I'm telling y'all that because at the time I didn't recognize that like that was my deep desire to do that. But I thought that it was unreachable for me. So I thought it wasn't, but I thought that. And I was like, whatever. I don't need to entertain that. And I let it go. So then the eviction happened. Well, the paperwork happened. Made a payment plan, defaulted on that. And somebody say, Jesus, it was just a day. True, but still a default, right? So here we are, whatever. So then fast forward, I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to like wait and let this play out and fight it in court because I have text messages, I have emails, I have timestamps. Like I was paying, like I was doing everything that I'm supposed to do. So I'm going to fight it. The reason why I felt like fighting it and going to court is because my mom is very much like, we joke and call her like a mini Kris Jenner because my mom is like on her shit. She's about her business. If somebody tells you no, you talk to the wrong person, talk to somebody else. Like you fight tooth and nail. She should have been a damn defense attorney because my mom is like, get it done by any means necessary. And I don't give a damn who told you can't fuck them folks, do what you need to do. Like that is her saying. So I was like, yeah, fuck them. I'm going to fight this. Like I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to show up to court and I'm going to show them, girl, that didn't do anything but waste energy and momentum that I could have been focusing on bettering myself. I was focusing on just fighting them as if they're my enemy, not recognizing that truly I'm the operant power here. But that also looked like every single time I saw the property manager, I would go the other way. My heart would beat fast. I didn't want to speak to him. Like I was embarrassed. So I would avoid him. Okay. And when I talk to you guys in the one-on-one sessions, it's so freaking nuts because I just had a conversation with one of my old mentees. We did like a little brief check-in the other day. I had a conversation with her and I'm like, I see myself in you because I used to avoid financial responsibility. I would avoid everything because there's like this stupid shame or guilt where you're like, how did I get here? But there should be no shame or guilt in that. It should just be, I recognize my pattern. I need to shift it and change it. I'm going to take ownership and accountability for how I got here and I'm going to fix it. It's not going to stay this way. I can guarantee it's not going to stay this way. So once you decide that that's what you're going to do, it will shift. So I would avoid him, all these things. So I was really big on getting in the bathtub and taking a bubble bath and just like thinking and just like, God, show me the solution. Like, show me something. And then I thought, you know what? Why don't my prefrontal cortex kicked in and I said, you know what? I'm just going to call their lawyer and I'm going to talk to their lawyer and I'm going to negotiate. That's what lawyers do. At the end of the day, they just want a deal done. They want some sort of at fault admittance. They want to be able to have a structured plan. Like it makes his job easier. We don't have to deal with all these court dates. I'll call them and see what my options are prior to court. So I'm like, I'll just see what, my options are prior to going to court. And so I ended up going to call the lawyer and I'm talking to him and he's like shocked. He's like, you would be so surprised that like people do not do this. They don't call us. They don't want to negotiate. They don't want to like do anything. They just let it go on their credit. And, here we are in court and you're being evicted. He's like, now what you can do is if you show up to court and you fight to stay there, you're still going to owe all this back rent. Like you're going to have to pay that regardless, but you're going to be paying your rent that's due on top of a past due payment. Do you think you can handle that? And I said, absolutely fucking not. I cannot handle that. Like I was very realistic with where my finances were. And he was like, if we were to let you stay until the court date, you would just have to be out by whatever court date. And I forgot what the date was. It was sometime in the fall. I want to say like maybe November, October. I don't remember, but it was chilly out, or it would have been. And so he was like, but as long as you can get out by that date, this will be off record. It won't go on your credit. We can come up with a structured payment plan. And I think I ended up paying them like $450 a month or something like that until it got paid off. Sometimes I would double the payments or triple the payments because the more I got better with my mindset, the more money I started making. So I would just be like, here's 1,000, here's 2,000, here's whatever, just to pay that shit off because I hate owing people money. I'm like, fuck no. So I negotiated with him. So he's like, okay, yeah, let's do that. Let me, contact my client, which was the property management company and the owners of the property. And he's like, let me see what we can work out. And he actually got the amount lowered for me. At first it was like they wanted $600 a month or something like that. And then they ended up lowering it to $450 a month. Because at the end of the day, like they just want some form of payment for it. And I just don't want it on my credit at all. And so I ended up doing it like that. But then the reason why I chuckled is because I ended up getting a much better property, a much better home that I had wanted with the place that I had lived at prior to that. Like it had all the bells and whistles that I wanted, a pool, like private parking, like all these things. So not even recognizing that, like I was over here saying like renting a home like that is out of reach. And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like the exact same thing, but it had like the same concept and things that I wanted. Same thing even with my home that I live in now. Like when I moved out of my place, like I could not find a place. I was looking, meditated, got quiet, and literally found this house within 3 days of me needing to move out. Right. So it's so interesting how things play a part. We tend to think that like manifestation is some woo-woo magical thing that just will dawn upon you and just be granted to you. And it's not. I chose to take control over my reality. I was like, this is not going to defeat me. I'm not going to keep fighting it either because I'm just going to create more resentment. So let me go with the flow of what's happening instead of fighting against it. Sometimes you prolong your blessing because you're fighting against what's happening, and it's not happening to you, it's happening for you. That was happening for me because I needed to be able to move into the home that I needed to be in, that I wanted ultimately, and didn't really recognize that at the time. In hindsight, we recognize things. But in the moment, just ride that wave, just like ride with it instead of fighting against it. Just go with it. And me going with it, I ended up not getting this eviction on my credit. It was off record in court. I barely even spoke. Like, the judge is like, this didn't happen. So if you ask me a question, it's going on record. This didn't happen. And their lawyer was like texting me and being like, just don't say anything. We're just letting them know that we're settling out of court. Just hush. And I was like, okay. So that's what we did. And so we did it like that. And then all was well, paid it off, never went on my credit. It never exists. It's almost like it never existed. And when you go with the flow of things, it just makes it less annoying and more tolerable. Because then you recognize when things are happening, that is just the programming, the life coming at you. I had such a feast and famine cycle that I didn't recognize that I was actually creating that. Your RAS is a filter system in your brain that scans for things. If I tell you, look around your room for all things that are purple, you're going to find things that are purple or as close to purple, even if it's lavender, whatever. Like, you're going to find something as close to purple as you can. Your brain is no different with your physical 3D reality. If I say, oh my God, this bill is due, there's always bills due, then my RAS has to go, okay, let's show her all the bills that are due. If you go, oh my God, I'm abundant, things are always working out for me, then your RAS goes, okay, let's show her that she's abundant and things are always working out for her, right? So that's what I did. When I went and I got still and got quiet, the idea came to me to call them, talk to the lawyer, try to negotiate something. Like, there's got to be an out to this besides an eviction going on my credit. Like, I was just so mortified. I was like, I don't want an eviction going on my credit. I don't want this to happen. And so that's how I got through that situation. I have also slept in a moving truck, okay, and couch hopped on my friends' couches and in spare bedrooms or whatever they had at the time. And I did that, but I knew if I just keep working toward my goal, like I told you guys in a previous video about building consistency and staying repetitive with that consistency, you're going to get the end result that you want. It is how you are choosing to interact with your physical 3D reality. If I choose to interact with my physical 3D reality in a way that is conducive to me getting the desired outcome, my desired outcome was I don't want an eviction on my record. I don't want to go through the eviction process. I would rather move. And what is even crazier is that let me backtrack. I actually gave them a move out date. They were like, when do you want to move out by? And I gave them a date, and they took that date, you guys. Normally they do not do that. And I even changed it on them. Like, I think it was maybe 2 weeks before I was supposed to move out. I was like, I actually need longer time. Like, can we renegotiate? And they did that. So they ended up prolonging it for like another month just to give me another month to like get it together and move out. Like, who is doing that? Who is doing that? I don't know any companies that would do anything like that, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I chose to interact with what was happening in a way that would get me the desired outcome. My prefrontal cortex was on. Okay. So your prefrontal cortex is just the epicenter. It's the one that makes the decisions. It's the CEO, the brains behind the operation, right? So then I teach my nervous system, big things do change for me. Big things do work out for me. When you keep going, you build that momentum and you are selective about how you're interacting with your everyday physical 3D reality. You change it. You are the operant power, nobody else. It's you deciding what's happening to you. when in actuality, it's happening through you, for you, by you. And it's just showing you. And as you respond to it, it will respond to you. Whatever you put into it is whatever you're going to get back. I put in stability, an idea, I don't want eviction, blah, blah, blah. That's exactly what got spit back out to me. But when I was avoiding, hiding, didn't want to check my bank balance, didn't want to be financially responsible, felt that shame and guilt, well, then my reality would mimic that back to me and show me that, because you get who you are and not what you want. Okay? It's been my intention that this episode has helped you. If you would like to sign up for a 1-hour mentorship call with me, you can do so at platinumgang.store. You can use the discount code LIVE20, LIVE20. Make sure it's in all caps. And you can also use that same discount code on the 90-day Platinum manifestation plans. And that is also available at platinumgang.store. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.